All right, I'm ready to get my blend on. Here is what I worked on live yesterday. We started with AB Studio Crow paper over a pumpkin. Then I took the IOD clay and used the Hello Pumpkin mold and made it 3D, glued all that on with the Pent Art Heavy Body Gel. Then I used some of the cracking paste. And now we're going to go back in. We're going to blend it with, I have all the colors here and ready to go. So I'm going to start with the white because that has a lot of on the background, and then I'm going to go in and I'll blend some of the blues and oranges around. That's the plan. So let's see how that works. Okay. I'm kind of just stippling it on because I do want to see the cracks still. And you'll notice that where I did the raise, like the stippling of the cracking paste, there's a lot of peaks. And then here where it's just thicker and I laid it on, there's thick cracks. And then over here, I went a little bit less, so the cracks aren't as deep. I wanted to make it a little bit, I wanted to make it dimensional. I didn't want it to be all perfect, all the exact same. Okay. Yesterday I took some pictures and posted them online, and for somebody that didn't know, didn't watch the live, they didn't know that I was still going to be working on this. So I had to put trust the process because I don't know if you've ever been working on something and it's a multi-step and there always seems to be an ugly phase, but you have to trust the process. So that's what I was posted yesterday. I'm like, trust the process. So hopefully I have faith in the process, and my trust is going to be worth it. All right. Get near the edges. All right, so you can see this white matches the white in the very edge of the decoupage paper, so that works well. Kind of just blending. Now I'm going to go down a little bit further over here too. I'm just using white acrylic paint by Pentart. Since there's a lot of white over here, I might as well just tie some in. I can always cover it with the other colors that I've picked. But for now, I'm going to just add the white here. Take my baby white and clean up the edges where I just got a little bit of the white paint on there. There we go. All right, so there's the white. Now we're going to start blending with some colors. So I'm going to start with the blues. There's a bunch of different shades of blues. I grabbed these three. So I'm going to start with these three and see where that takes me. So I'll go ahead and open all of them up. And these are all Pentart acrylics also. One is a metallic. This one right here is metallic. It's a really pretty blue. But that I can see in some of these areas here. And then this one I see here too. All right. Now we are ready. I'm going to slide this over just a bit so the paints can be in the picture. Oh, shit. I got some paint on my iPad. I just want to get that off real quick. There we go. Whew. Okay. So let's start with, I tend to go with the darker colors first. So let's go with that. So I'm going to start with a darker blue, and I'm going to start it over here. And I'm just going to stipple it on. Now, because the white paint is still wet, it's going to blend and it's going to mix with the white. So it'll give me some shades. You can see it almost matches perfect with the blues that are over here. If I didn't want it to smear or mush or blend with the white, I would just totally wait for the white to dry, but this is the look I'm going for. I want it to be different shades of blue. And I want some areas of the white to show through too. So I'm not going to be covering the whole thing with this blue. I'm just going to be using just in a few spots. And a trick that I always use is whatever color you're using, I always tend to bring it into my paper. Just a tad. There we go. All right, so I'm just going to use this to get some of the more of the extra paint off my brush. All right, put that brush aside. Now I'm going to go to the lighter blue. Just grab another brush. Let me I'll go with this one. And I'm just going to simply, first I want to see if the color really works with this. So I'm just going to touch. And it does, it looks good. I have a little thick on here, so I'm just going to spread it around first. It's very similar to the other color we just used, but it's a little bit brighter, so you can definitely see the difference. So you can start to see where it's going to blend a little bit, the colors. Get some up here. Going into where the white is still thick and wet. So you can see that that is definitely changing the color of that blue. Now I'm going to go along the edge where I just painted, just to soften the edge a little bit. I really don't want to see the brush strokes or the brush dabs. So I'm just kind of now, I was pushing a little hard, now I'm pushing a little bit lighter. All right, let me get my other brush out. I'm going to use a little bit of this metallic, not very much because there's just a little bit on the crow, but I want it just to highlight in certain areas. So let's just see take a peek at what it looks like on here. It's bright. It's a turquoise, so it's just giving some highlights. So I'm just going to put them in a few different areas. This really brings out the color of the eyes. Exact same color as this crow's eyes, which is cool. And I do want to bring it into my paper just a little bit. So I'm going to just dab a little here and a little under this area over here. Little swirls, just kind of breaking it up a little bit. All right, so we have the blue on, but I still think that we need a little bit more. You can see the white here. There's a little bit of like an orangish color there. So we're going to go ahead and add some more white, and then we're going to hit some of those colors in there. So let me get back my white. Now, the blue paint is not dry, so the white will blend a little bit with the blue, but some of the white will still stay. So let's just play. So we can see that. And we're just simply covering up certain areas where the blue might be darker than we had anticipated it to be. There we go, it's starting to blend beautifully. The thing about blending is you really need to be patient. And you just need to keep adding to it. Sometimes you have to go back and forth between your colors a few times. Sometimes all it takes, if you're really lucky, just one time over. Hear that? That's my puppy. He's stretching. He's got such a rough puppy life. He's sitting by the door by the sun, soaking it up. I think I'm interrupting his nap time. I'm not normally home during this time of the day, but I came home because I have a lot of my paint colors here, and I just thought I knew it'd be a little bit more quiet here for me to be able to do this blending because I really kind of need to concentrate. That's why I didn't go live. I was a little nervous, but that's okay. At least I'll have this video out there for y'all. All right, I need to get a softer white, a smaller white brush. Just get in here because I don't want to hit the crow with my brush. So I need to find a brush that's going to give me a little bit more control. There we go. A little bit more. And the way the cracking paste is lifted, some areas have really high peaks, which gives some great shadows, especially with the way the blue has hit some of this. So definitely when I do pictures, when it's all done, I'll make sure that I somehow can capture that so you can see it. Like, I don't want this to be so bright white that it stands out. I do want it to like blend in, kind of like, see how this is blending very nicely up here. But there's a lot of peaks and valleys right here because of the paste. So there we go. Add a little bit more white up there. Sometimes I'll just take my brush and just very lightly swirl. That way you don't really see the brush strokes of the brush the way it's stippling on there. And then I want to bring it down a little bit in to the paper, but I want to make sure there's barely any paint because I only want just a hint of it, just to trick the eye so you don't see the edge of the paper or the edge of the paste that I put on there. Okay, so it's coming together. A little bit more white over here. Some swirls. All right, so now right here, there's a definitive line between this like rust and orangish colors and the blue sky. Same with over here. So what I want to do is I want to take some of these colors and kind of blend them in and maybe bring some blue down a little bit. So I'm going to go with the medium blue. Oh, that's my white brush. Oh, well. I don't want to totally get rid of that orange, but I think the orange on this is going a little high. So I'm just going to kind of soften it a little bit. You can see right here, I'm just lightly taking whatever's left in my brush, which isn't a lot. Think of it more like, kind of like dry brushing, just to get some of the blue into that rust color. All right, let's get some of that rust going. So I see this color and I see this color here. One of them is a metallic and one of them is regular. They're both acrylics by Pentart. All right, so I'm going to start with this color, I think, and then I'll come back and I'll just highlight with a little of this one. Let me see this brush, how this one's going to work. I'm going to start in the white and then bring it in to the paper. Oh yeah, this is a perfect color. It matches well. Again, I don't want to have solid I want to leave some of the white showing just for dimension. So see how it's tying it all together. Now one thing I do notice though is when I'm putting the orange on top of the black, it's a different color than when as I'm putting it over the white. I'm thinking I need to put, there is white all around here, so maybe I should go ahead and add a little bit of white around there just because I'm going to stay kind of true to the original paper that I chose. I'm not going to do it all the way down, but just right around the paper area. It'll help soften it too. I know it might be a little weird, but this is my favorite part of when I'm doing a decoupage project. I love going back and I love blending and creating the background. I don't know why. It can be stressful, but I just like it. All right, let me go there. Let me go back to my orange color, and the exact color of this is called Golden Red by Pentart, and this is just a regular paint. It's not the metallic one. You can see there's a lot of burgundy kind of in there too, so we'll be getting some of the red, some of the brown together to make that burgundy color. That's another reason why I didn't do it live, because what happens is I tend to start blending and my mind starts to wander, and then I start to sing and hum, and I don't think you really want to hear that. So I'm going to try not to do that. Those are pretty colors. I'm going to have to figure out what those colors really are. I think I might have part of it over here with these. We'll have to see. We'll wait till I get to that part over there. We're going to focus right now on the leaves, on the bottom of the pumpkin. And then I'm going to have to decide what color I want to paint the 3D pumpkin. All right. So you can see the difference between where I had the white and where I just put the orange over the black. There are several different colors in there, so we're going to go ahead and just use some of the different colors that I have here. I have red, orange, and then I have this metallic. The metallic is the, it's called Golden Red Metallic. Oh, wait a minute. They both have the same lid. I forgot. This is, I think, believe terracotta, but I broke the lid, so I stole a lid off an old one, so no. Don't mind me. All right, so I'm going to come back in and I'm going to use some of this. This is actually the golden red. This is the metallic. And it's not perfect, but it is definitely in the right direction of where I want this to go. It's in the red family. Not quite that burgundy color, but we'll get some of that in here next. And I just want to put it, you know, a little bit here and a little bit there, thicker some spaces, lighter some spaces, just to create that dimension, that look. Use a little bit up here. I'm putting out just a little bit thicker here, just to kind of tie it in. And I'm going to bring some into the paper. There we go. So you can see that the leaves are starting to form. All right, so now what I want to do is I think I'm going to use I'm going to use some of this. This is the metallic. It's actually brass, but it gives off a nice warm brown. Let's give that a shot. And I'm just going to do it down here in the corner just to see what. Yeah, it's not really the color that I'm looking for, so I'll save that for over here in this area. Let's just see what that's going to look like. Yeah, that'll tie in here nicely. See that? That'll tie in there. So I will definitely save that. That's what I originally had that color for anyway. I really need to tie in that burgundy. I'm going to pause for a second. You guys won't know it because I'm just going to pause my video and then I'll re-record it and then I'll put the two together. Okay, so I'm going to go find some of this like magenta brownish color. And, oh, actually, you know what? Let me just try to make it first before I start. Because I really don't think, I would have brought it out had I had it. Now magenta. What makes magenta? Maybe a little bit of the brown, and I'm just going to try something here. But I need a new brush. I'm going to run out of brushes. I like this brass color. Put that here, and let's try a little bit of, I'm going to add a little bit of this blue. I know that seems weird, but, and then I'm going to add a little bit of red and see what that comes up with. Where's my red brush? Here it is. Well, I should get my color wheel out. I do have one, but thought maybe I could. Let me just see. I've got some yellow here. Why not? Let's just play. So let's go add some more green. It's turning like a grayish color. Yeah, definitely not the colors that I'm looking for. It's not that bad, but we're just gonna use part of it and just see how it. So it just is adding a little bit of a different color leaf in there. Not one that's necessary on the paper, but when I'm all done, they're not going to have to know that this color was not an original color in the paper. It's definitely a fall color. I kind of like it. And as long as it looks like it's part of the original paper, like just adding it like that, it looks very realistic. I'm not adding any more paint to my brush. I'm just kind of using what's left over and mixing it with some of the orange that's still wet. All right. Okay, it's looking good. Still don't have that magenta color that I want. It's not even magenta. It's more of a burgundy, like a purple. And let's see, purple, red, and blue make purple. So we'll give that a shot. I do know that, but I was just trying something different. There's my red brush. I'll take some of this. Ooh, there we go. Just a little bit more blue, I think. Ooh, that had some brass on it. I need a little bit more red. There we go. Yay! It's almost like a brownish, but it does definitely has that burgundy look to it. So you can see it down here. Can you see it down here? There we go. That is way better. Here, let me dry my brush off so I start with a nice even color instead of just some red or just some blue. So let's, oh yeah, that matches good. Okay, so I'm going to go back in and I'm going to add some here and there and everywhere. What I will go back and do is, because I can see some vines, some where the leaves are. It doesn't look like you really see them that close on the screen, but I'll use a very fine paintbrush that I have here with a like a brownish, and maybe just draw a couple. That way it doesn't look like just blobs on here. And actually some of it matches that, so that'll be perfect too. All right, so I do want to put a little bit of white in here. So not much. I'm going to offset it just a bit, and I'm going to add a little bit just to soften it. See that? Because you can see in here there's the white that pokes through. So just a little bit. Oops. Here, a little bit there. There we go. You can definitely see it better here than on the camera, but that's all right. Okay, so now we need to blend this area. So this is a little tricky. So we've got the blues, we've got this like purplish and brown tan, and then we got the oranges coming up. So we're going to have to kind of figure out how we're going to make all this work. So, nope, there's only one way to find out. Let's just go for it. So I'm going to start with some orange. And I'm going to bring it up to the blue. Then I'm going to come back in because I really like this color here that we just made. And with this brush, and we're going to put some on the edge here. And you can see that it's a pretty good match. Not perfect. And then as we bring it out, we'll soften it. Of course, we always need to bring it up into our other color just a little. Just to trick the eye into believing that it is part of the original. There we go. It's weird because this little spot right here, it kind of looks like it's something in the background, but I'm not exactly sure what it is. So, oh, and then I have to use this color because this color is here. So I want to put some over here just to kind of tie it together. Hopefully that is a good shade. I'm going to grab one more brush. There's a good one right here. Oh yeah. So you can see how it's tying together. And even though there's a line there, I still want to use this. I still want to soften it up just a little bit because for me, I think it's a little bit too dark. So that softens it. And then this blue here is a little bit harsh. So I'm going to take that same little tan color and just go over that and warm that up just a little bit. There we go. Let's see. Yeah, that's looking better. Of course, I want to keep bringing some of it up. Not a bunch, just a little. And then a little bit more here. Just going to lightly swirl. This is just getting the excess off of my brush, but it's hitting those raised surfaces of the paste. All right. Okay, so like I'm spending a lot of time on the background, but you know what? It's once I do the pumpkin, this is going to pop, and that's not going to be as detrimental in the background. It's just going to. Okay, so I'm going to tie a little bit of this tan color in over here just to break up the big section of this white and orange and blue. So I'm just going to add a little bit right here. Now bringing it into the paper and down into the orange. There we go. That ties it nicely. A little bit up into more in the blue. There we go. Okay, so for right now, I think it's looking pretty good. I do want to add just a few lines. I have these little thin brushes that I got that will give me, see these little, see how thin that is? Put over here. There we go. So I can just add a few lines. And now these vines are like whitish. They're really light, so I'm just going to add, maybe I'll try the tan mixed with a little bit of white and see how that looks. Yeah. Not really the look that I was expecting. So I'm just going to add a few more and then call it a day with that. There we go. Just added some more white. That's basically all we ended up doing. All right. Now, the pumpkin. We need to do something with the pumpkin, but we also need to do something with the crow. And I already know what we're going to do with the crow because I've got some special something for that. But we're going to save the crow for the end. I'm going to put some of these caps back on these real quick. And I need to decide what color I want to paint the pumpkin. If I paint it orange, I feel like it's going to really just blend in with those leaves and everything around from the paper. I really don't want to paint it green like an heirloom pumpkin. I don't really want to do that. So maybe I'll just do it a nice white. Like a, try to make sure I put the right lids on the right ones. Oops. This is the part where I like to have you guys on so I can say, what color do you think? Oh, I just noticed something. I don't know why it took me so long, but the metallic lids are black and the regular ones are white. Wow. All right, so let's talk about the pumpkin. So let's do the pumpkin. I would like to do it in warm colors, like the brown and the white, and then just use a soft green for the vines and the leaves. So let's do that. So let me put some of my brushes. Look at these brushes that I've used. Actually, that's a cool picture. Let me grab that real quick. I love that. Get one here too. Ta-da! Can never have enough pictures. Okay. We'll stick these in water over here. So pumpkin, we're gonna start with the white. And of course I'll be adding some shadows and stuff to this. So this is just like the basic coat of the pumpkin. we can't have all this blending in the background and everything, and then just a plain old boring white pumpkin. Now, can we? Okay, as I'm looking at this, I'm wondering if I should do anything there or if I should bring some of this out here. I guess I have some time to think about that. I'll probably end up doing that off camera, but at least you guys are seeing how I go about when I do my blending. I let this white sit out for a little bit with at the lid, so it's a little bit thicker, but it's still okay, and I can always add a little bit of the water and it'll make sure it reconstitutes and it'll just be perfect. So it is a little bit thicker than it normally is, but that's all right. All right, I just want to make sure that I have it all covered. And if I happen to get a little bit of white on the paper, I'll just go back later and use my oranges to blend it. I'm gonna go ahead and just put a little bit of white on the stem too, even though I know it's going to be a different color. Okay, so you can still really see the great detail of these leaves and those little brown vines on the pumpkin, or they could be green. What I don't really like right here is you can see where I didn't get really close to the edge of the pumpkin with some of the orange. So I'll go back and I'll fix that, but I'm going to go ahead and do the pumpkin first because I might accidentally smear some of the color around it anyway. Okay, so the heirloom pumpkin generally has, I call it heirloom, but I don't know. It's the fancy pumpkins. They have different shades, different colors, and they seem to just like blend well. So I'm just going to add right where the creases of the pumpkin are. I'm adding this color here. And then I'm going to go back and blend it with the white. Where's it? Here it is. So you can see it's giving it a little bit of character. He's letting me know that I'm keeping him awake during his nap time, I think. He's just sighing up a storm over here. So you can see my pumpkin. See this 3D. Oops. Shoot. There we go. Okay, so that is coming together. I still want to add a little bit more white. I want to add a little bit more white to not where the creases are, but more where the round part is. Just so it keeps more of the shading into the creases rather than on the outside of it. And this will look a little bit different once I start getting to the leaves. Now, what I don't have is I don't have a color for the leaves. I can make it look where the pumpkin has been sitting for a little bit, so the leaves could be like a little brownish. Maybe I'll do some green with brown edges just to give it a little bit of a, an older appearance. Oh, there's my son. I'm recording. Yeah, it's okay. Um, so, all right. Let me turn around and find my green. Green, green, green. Okay, got some greens. Now I just need to think and decide which ones I want to use. Probably this one's kind of neat. This is metallic. Might be too bright. This one's a little bit more subtle. And then of course we got, bam, that is some green. What I think I want to do is I want to do some green and brown. And let's see, green, brown. Let's try this color combination. Here we go. So this one is called Golden Touch, which is the green. So it's a Golden Touch. So we're going to start with some of this one. Find a nice flat brush. This one. And run out of brushes. All right, so we're going to brush some of this on. And this one is a metallic, so it's a little bit see-through, transparent. That's a nice color. A little bit brighter than what I wanted to do, but I'm going to warm it up with some of the browns. The detail on these leaves, it's just amazing. Okay, so that's that leaf coming together. But let's go back and let's add some of, just a little bit of the tan. My green needs to be a little bit more wet for this blending. And I want to add, a little bit of this. I like the way this color looks. And it's kind of taken a mixture of the other two colors that I put on here, but it's also, in certain areas, it's keeping its own look, the own shade. There we go. Right. I have to raise it just a tad. Don't want to completely lose all of that green, so I'm going to come back in with a little bit green, kind of just mush it in there. When this dries, I'll be adding something that will show and bring out all the detail on these. But gotta trust the process. It's all about layering. I do want to go ahead and I want to paint the whole stem this color because it's such a beautiful color. You can always paint these before you put them on, what you're gluing it onto. I just didn't know like what colors I wanted to do. But yes, I know there'll be a question. You can definitely paint the clay while it's still wet. so I gotta do the rest of this the same thing. The greens, the brown. Go. Now there's another tan color. Just a little bit of this. Wipe that off, and then to this shiny. And it just blends nicely with those other two colors. Okay, gotta get a little better angle. Okay, now we have to decide, is this the color that we like? I'm gonna get a small brush here. I want to do some of these vines real quick. And I'm just gonna use the same color that I used on the stem. The detail on these are just amazing. And this one's a little curlicue. Okay, almost. All right, let me see if there's a curlicue. Oh, yep, there's some at the top. I don't know if it's the stem or the curlicue, so I'm just gonna put, there we go. I'm gonna use a little bit more, cover up some more of this green here. I don't like that. This is so bright here with the green. Ta-da! Of course, now I'm adding green back. I'm just trying to balance it with the other ones, which sometimes is not the easiest. There we go. All right, so I'm going to add a little bit more white now that most of this brown is dry, and I just want to make sure that the pumpkin, the white part, is popping. So you can see that. There you go. Still, of course, want those shadows where the details of the pumpkin are. Boop. That way it doesn't look like my entire pumpkin is old and rotting. It's more of a pretty decorative pumpkin that our crow is sitting on. Look, I am loving this. I hope you're liking it so far too. I've been on for 50 minutes, so I can just imagine if I was doing this live. You guys probably would be bored by now. But at least this way, when it's on YouTube, you can fast forward and go to the part you want to see. All right, so now what I would like to do is I'm going to clean up this edge because I don't like the way that it's got the white and the black. So I'm going to get some more orange, some of the orange back out, and I'm going to make the pumpkin a little bit more definitive, the nice edge. I'm actually going to turn it. And I'm going to grab this one. And I'm just going to just make a nice line, and then I can go back and blend the edges if I feel like that orange line is sticking out too much. I'm just trying to make it a better edge around the pumpkin. Yeah, see, this is... There we go. Some of that raised cracking paste is part of the issue, so we're just going to paint right over that. There we go. Now let's look at it again. Yep, looks way better. I do want to use just a little bit of brown just to break up that solid yellow or solid orange line. Let's use this one. We'll use the metallic red first. Put some. There we go. Just don't want to have it where it looks like it's just that solid orange. And then a little bit of this one. Wait, we could use some, no. So say we can use some of the paint that's on the table, but it's already dried. Oh, got a little bit of my pumpkin. There we go. All right. Clean up that edge a little bit too. Now, just feel like we need to tie in a little bit of the black. So maybe I'll just do some black vines. Remember I was trying to do the white? Let's do some black. Do you have black? Right here. Okay, black. Where's that real thin brush? I'm going to grab a different one. There's another one. There we go. This is better. You see that? Probably not, but just also adds a little bit of depth because some of the cracking paste where I just lightly painted over, you can see the black coming through. Other places where I pounced, I kind of filled the hole. Most of this cracking paste was put on for texture, dimension in the background, so, and we definitely got that. And you'll see that once I take the pictures and put them up. Dropping a little bit of black on top there too. Add a little black to the stem. Why not? All right. Is this the... No, okay. So there's a special color that I want to use that's going to make him pop a little bit. This is my favorite part of the whole thing. But what I need to do is I need to get all my paints out of the way because I need to bring over a whole section of my favorite. Just wait. I didn't bring it out because I wasn't sure I was going to get, how far I was going to get. But we got pretty far, so might as well just keep going. Put that one in the water. I'm going to grab these. These are my shimmers. I am in love with these. These are the wax pastes. They just make everything pop and become brilliant and bright. So if you notice the crow, he's like a blue and got a little bit of purple and definitely some black. So we're going to take some of these and we're going to make him even shine brighter. So we have, this one is blue. This one's graphite. It looks a little purplish, kind of. So definitely going to put some graphite where the black is. So that'll make it pop. And let me see. Maybe some of this purple. We'll see. But look, see these areas right here? Look at that. That will be beautiful. This is rose gold. So this is the fun part. This is what I love. I love this part. But this definitely adds so much to it. So let's start with the blue part. I'm just going to take my brush. And I like to test it on just this inconspicuous area just to make sure it's going to look good. I'm not sure if this is the best brush. Oh, yeah. So it's making it shimmer. So I'm going to go to all of the places that have that blue, and I'm just going to brush some of this wax paste on because I want him to pop. I want him to be beautiful. Look at that. Can you see the difference already? You see that? So I'm going to go right here in the blue section. I will be coming back with some of the other colors, but I'm starting with the blue. And this is just going on super light. It's not going on heavy. But it's just enough because we're going to make him be bold and bright. Okay, so I'm going to put the blue aside. Now we're going to go with the purple because you see the purples in there. And I need a brush. Oh boy. Here's one. We're not going to use it a lot. We're just going to use, see how beautiful that, it just makes it pop. I'm going to blend it in with some of the blue. Anywhere we saw a little bit of the purple. You can really see that, yes. Okay, now for I'm going to use just a very little bit of the rose gold. I'm going to have to start cleaning some brushes here in a second. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and just grab one. Yeah, let's do this. I always keep baby wipes and paper towels handy. All right. So let's use a little bit of this rose gold. Now, I'm not going to use a lot of it. I'm just going to come in right underneath where we put the purple on. And it's just a little bit more subtle than the purple. You see that? So everywhere we had put the purple, we're just going to put a little bit under. You can really see that. I do sell these at the shop and of course online. Ever since I did that chameleon, what video? One of the videos, I have sold a bunch of these, so I definitely have to restock. But they just add so much to it. Look at that. Look at that. It's just so pretty. This one is the rose gold. Now I do have the graphite. So this is kind of like the black. I do have the black one too, but it's not the metallic, so I don't have the metallic black. So I'm just gonna put a little of the graphite on for this color. I'm just gonna take the blue off of here, or the rose gold, and paper towel. I'm not going where it's really, really black. I'm just kind of going where it's a little bit gray. Just kind of, I'm going to come underneath the blue a little bit. There we go. And I'm going to shade in some of his feathers down here. Definitely his talons. There we go. Ooh, I love it. I do want to go back to the blue because look at his eye. I really don't want to touch his eye because what if I mess it up? But I do want to use a little bit more blue. I feel like I didn't put enough blue on certain areas. There we go. And this you don't really have to worry about staying in the lines or anything. It's just pure for highlighting. There we go. All right. So, let me show you. Can you see how the shimmer? Now this rose gold line is a little bit bold. So what I think I need to do is I need to go back and just soften that up a little bit. And I'm just going to take, I have a little bit left over on my, I'm just going to fan it in just a little bit. And you can also use your fingers too. There we go. So it's not quite as, bold in your face, and there's a little bit, okay, so we do have a lot going on here. We have the blues, and we have the oranges, we have a little bit of brown, then of course we have the metallics, and then we have thank goodness it's it's a neutral pumpkin. But there's one last thing that I want to do, and that is just the detail on the leaves of the pumpkin. I just want to make sure that it's, oh yeah, it's dry. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to take the umber. No, this is the black. Shoot, where's my umber? Let's do black. I'm going to just take a black, and I'm just going to lightly go on here. You know what? No, I think the black will be too dark. I don't think the black will be the right choice. Let's choose, maybe we'll do this one. I like this one. This is the copper. Let's check this one out. So when I put it on here, a lot of the veins and the lines and everything are going to pop and they'll be more accentuated. You can put it on with a brush. You can put it on with your fingers. The trick is you just don't want to push too hard because you really want to hit what's the elevated part. Now this color is really blending with the color that was on there, so it may not have been a good choice. So let's see. Maybe I will use a little bit of the black. I can always go over it. So let's give this a whirl. Just get that other color off my finger. Going super light. You see that? It's just warming it up just a little bit, showing a little bit more of the detail. And I'm also going to do some of the vine and some of the leaves, some of the, there we go. Yeah, I like it. So basically, for now, we're done. And I'm sure I'll do some tweaks offline. It's always different when you look at it when you're take a break and come back. But I'm going to post pictures, and I hope you enjoyed. I know it's a little long-winded for me, but what a fun project. And this is perfect for fall. Look at that. See the 3D pumpkin? Little crow. You could make a saying. You could do different things to the frame, but I kind of like it just like this. Okay, so I just want to say thank you for watching me blend. Again, this was AB Studios paper, and this is the IOD Hello Pumpkin mold, the new mold. And then this was just some pent art and some blending and some fun. All right, so I will see you guys next week. And if you don't follow me already on Instagram, make sure you do that too. And I'll see y'all soon. All right, thanks. Bye.